Okay, let's talk today about discipline as a mom. What does it actually look like to grow in discipline as a mom while you're caring for young children, while you're trying to run a house and all the things? You've got a lot of responsibilities. Maybe your kids are about to be home for the summer and you're like, okay, the summer doesn't even really feel like a time for discipline, but how can I not lose all my disciplines in the summer? Let's just talk about that today because I really think there's some hope for growing in discipline, even in a time that feels a little more loosey-goosey, maybe like the summer. There's a couple things we can do to keep the growth going. So hey, my name is Lana. I'm a mom of 6. I made this channel to be a help to you on the mama journey. If that resonates, I hope you'll stay, hit subscribe. I say this in almost all my videos, but if you happen to be pregnant, because mamas get pregnant sometimes, right? There's a free class down below just to help you on that whole journey. So the link for that is down below. Okay, so let's hop into it. I have been on this journey this year, really seeking to grow in discipline because it's an area personally I have struggled in my whole life. I have been a big time procrastinator. Somehow I graduated high school, college, I even got a master's, but it was turmoil because I was a master procrastinator. And so school was very stressful for me because I would put off assignments till literally the last second. And that has caused havoc for me as an adult, but also as a mother, because so much of running a house is doing the necessary things each day and not letting the work stack up on itself. Thus, all the laundry, all the dishes, realizing that dinner comes every single day. I joke that it's a little crude, but dinner's a bit like a period. It's coming, like the period comes every month, the dinner's coming every day. Like there's no denying it. We just have to run into the storm. I like to say, be the buffalo, run right into the storm. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that I talk about a lot in my birth videos. Buffaloes run into storms, not away from them. And so I think so much of discipline is realizing what in the world are we procrastinating on and to just kick that habit in the pants. And so for me, what has been really, really helpful, I'm going to just kind of give you like the tools I've been using to like just kick discipline in the butt and to get going. So I'm going to just throw all my tools at you, the things I've been learning and growing. And then at the very end, stay for the very end. And I'm not just trying to hook you so I get watch time for YouTube, but I want to sum it up with a like major asterisk for discipline that also couches all of discipline in an immense amount of grace and hope for growing in discipline that I think is not talked enough about in the discipline realm. So the things that really, really help me that grow in discipline is one, realizing that I am trying to actually get something from the day and not just trying to get through the day. And the way that I do that is we sit down together and we do a weekly team meeting, my husband and I. Granted, I'm going to tell you all the weaknesses too. Like we haven't done this meeting in 3 weeks because we're in the middle of like the very end of baseball season. When I'm filming this, it's May. So people call that Maycember. I'm not in the public school system because I homeschool my kids, but it's still even busy for me. We need this meeting more than ever because it's a busy time. But every week we do sync on the commitments that we have, the things we have going on. And really when we do our team meetings, we kind of lay out what are the big 3 things we're trying to accomplish this week. So for me, I've really been trying to get some broken things fixed around the house and to just start to like the filters that need to be changed, the shed that needs to be cleaned up because we have bulk pickup coming up, just all the little things. So it really helps when we set a big 3 for the week, a big 3 for the day. That's another big thing. The most disciplined days I have a couple commonalities. They're really great when I sit down the night before and I lay out my big 3. Kind of like you lay out your workout clothes, I lay out my big 3 for the next day. So it might be run a package to UPS, make sure I call about that doctor's appointment, or just run 1 trash bag to the thrift store to donate. So just those things that start to build up in our minds, because sometimes in motherhood it can feel like we have a million sticky notes all over our brain. A lot of things we're thinking about that we may not even have the capacity to get to that day, but they sure do live in our brain and they can cause a lot of anxiety. So just sitting down at the beginning of the week, I write them down in this, I got a planner system at the beginning of the school year. I'm not saying it's perfect. I kind of alternate between a homeschool planner and a regular planner. But what I do like about the one planner that I use, and I'm going to share this, is that it has a spot to basically time block your whole day by hour. And I like to time track, and it really helps too if I can write on one side decide what I hope to get done in that block, and then logistically what actually happens in that block. Because it's been very hard for me as somebody who is a procrastinator to also try to homeschool my children, making sure we're getting done what we need to do, and just writing down, okay, what did I actually get done? And it helps me and shows me where I waste time. That's been very, very helpful. So just the big 3 for the week, for the day, trying to get something from the day and not just trying to get through the day as a mom. Of course, there are days that just kick us in the pants in so many ways, and we're like, I want this day to end. I mean, we're lying if we don't say there's days like that. And in those days, yeah, I am just trying to get through the day. Yeah, there are moments like that, but on the whole, really trying to like move the needle forward, because that feels like a link in the chain of like this cable that's pulling us up towards the person we want to be when we see progress. I think a lot of us, we're not craving perfection so much. We know perfection on this side of earth is not possible, but we do love to see progress. And sometimes I think the faulty thinking is that progress is up and to the right, which we know it's up and it's down and it's up and it's down, but we're like, we hope it's more up than it is down, right? So I think progress is just, it causes a lot of momentum. And I think those tiny big 3s, I think a lot of times we want to do big 8s, big 3s just make such a difference, because they just, those micro movements, slowly, and we look up and we've gotten so much done. And it really does remind me so much of the ant. Proverbs talks about the ant, the might and the power of the ant, that if you put something in front of an ant, they will go around it. They are determined and they have no master, and they can carry a lot more than their own weight. And just little by little, if you destroy their nest, they'll just build it back. Like, just the relentlessness. I love that relentless spirit that we can take from the ant, that some days are just going to feel like an epic fail. But on the whole, can we have more good days than bad days as far as trying to do those disciplined little things in making progress? Okay, the other things, and I talk about this on the channel all the time, but for me as a Christian, it's very important that I have some kind of contact with the Word. I love the book Women of the Word, and she talks about a really great study method in that book. I recommend it to every woman, and honestly, it's a poorly named book. I know she doesn't want to teach men in that area, but like, she just really has a good system for teaching how to study the Bible. But realistically, I have a 5-month-old, and so right now I am just really content to just try to get in the Word some way, somehow. But one thing I love is that she says, read the Word first and foremost for what it says about God before we say what it says about us. And that's been like a good discipline to have, is just trying to get contact with the Word some way, somehow. I feel like that really just helps me think about what is true, because I think one of the greatest drains on our energy levels for discipline is thinking about things that are untrue. So a great example of this is an all or nothing thinking. Well, because I can't clean out the shed, all of it today, I'm going to do nothing. And it's like, a lot of times if you take any project, it can be broken up into about 10 small steps. And I even do this with dishes. I'll set a 10-minute timer. I might realistically have 30 minutes of dishes to do. And so I might say, because I don't have 30 minutes to do the dishes, I'm not going to do any of it. When really a doable portion, as Elizabeth Elliot always says, or do the next right thing, might be just 10 minutes of dishes. It might be just starting dinner. It might be taking 10 minutes to put on some real clothes so I feel like a real human. And, washing my face, brushing my teeth, those kind of things that make us feel better and make us feel like we can run into somebody at the grocery store and not feel like we want to hide. Those are the disciplines that can really mean so much and help us actually get more done. When I put on my clothes in the morning and when I brush my hair and, even sometimes put on a little makeup, I do feel better about myself. It is true. I think one thing though that needs to be said that is tripping up so many of us is when we feel like we don't have the willpower. The willpower's gone. We're exhausted at the end of the day. Is not having our environment set up in such a way to support that lack of willpower. So what I mean by that is like, not scrolling in the bed when we're so exhausted. When we're so exhausted, we're really going to get so much more out of the next day if we just go to bed. I really lacked a lot of discipline in this area. And so for me, after many failed attempts of like trying to get off of Instagram, I just got a Wise phone. It doesn't even have access to the internet except for I can get on Venmo, I can do Spotify, I have Audible, Audible, it has a couple of like ways, things that are like handy tools. But for me, I just needed to put a lot of space between me and the easy access to the internet and social media. I needed to separate my tools out. So that's been very helpful as far as discipline goes, because when I go on a walk, I can listen to Audible, I can listen to a podcast on Spotify, but I can't like randomly look up something. It's like I have to leave my mind wandering a little bit, and I can't get sidetracked as easily. And so that if I want to go look up something, I have to actually go to a computer, and that's a bit more profitable for my time because I'm not constantly getting distracted looking things up. It can be challenging at times to not be able to access the internet, but I'll say on the whole, it's helped me so much in the discipline department to use a wise phone and instead of a regular phone. But I know that's not for everybody. It seems like it's a bit of a radical change, but it's been a good one as far as focus and attention, where I feel like I was really lacking in that area. I say this a lot in my birth videos because I talk about being the buffalo, but I want to talk about it as in regards to discipline. So I had heard the story that buffaloes run into the heart of a storm because they know that if they run into the storm, they're going to be in the storm a lot less a length of time, and there's well-watered grass on the other side of the storm. But they say that cows run away from the storm. I'm not actually sure about any of this, but let's just take the story and the theory anyways and run with it. The cows run away from storms, so they kind of just follow the storm, and they're in the storm way longer. When it comes to discipline, I think it's so helpful to envision ourselves being the buffalo and running right into the heart of the storm. So if we're going to just take some things we typically deal with as a mom, like one could be just a toddler that is wigging out, just having a total meltdown. I think just running into the storm is realizing, okay, it's probably just going to be like a 10-minute span of time. I can do anything for 10 minutes, just deep breathing. I'm going to help that toddler calm down. I'm probably going to take her out of that room that she's melting down into a quiet space and rock her or read to her and just run into the storm instead of being like, okay, these are like the thought patterns I would have is like, oh my gosh, I'm always dealing with this. Like, why is, just going down this thought pattern that's actually not true. What is true is that my toddler's 2 and she's probably hungry, or she's probably tired, or she's just 2, and really calming her down is not going to take that much time. And if I'll just run right into the heart of it, I can help her when she doesn't have all the verbal language and all the things. Another example for me lately could just be, okay, I know I need to move my body, but I know I don't have a ton of time to do it right now. I'm just going to take a quick walk around the block, and I'm going to move my body, and I'm not going to put it off until later. I have the time now, so I'm going to do it now because I don't know if I'm going to have the time later. And that's one thing with procrastination is I think we're putting off till later what really ought to be done right now. And we're really being presumptuous that we will have the time later when we don't know what's coming up in the future. Chaos may happen, a crisis may happen, or just life may happen. And so when we have the opportunity to do what we ought to be doing, really seizing that moment and being the buffalo and running into the heart of that storm and just taking on that micro discipline that is really going to bless us, but bless our families. Because when we are taking care of ourselves in a really healthily way and doing what we ought to, everyone in our home benefits. So that's just what I try to tell myself is like, okay, I'm just going to be the buffalo. I'm just going to just tackle this one little part of the whole, and little by little, I'm going to get there. And that's actually what I have my young son say to me when he can tell I'm getting overwhelmed. I've just coached him like, please, can you put your hand on mine and just say, hey, mama, we're going to get there little by little. And that's just the handy truth that he just blesses me with, is because a lot of times I am spiraling in my mind because I'm like, we're never going to get there. And he is just, trying to remind me like, hey, we will, but it's just little by little. It may seem like a lot right now, but little by little, we are going to get there. And I don't even know where there is, but just like, okay, little by little, we can clean this kitchen. Little by little, we can make progress on the house. Little by little, we can learn math. We can learn to read. It's all little by little, but oftentimes we just want the microwave method, or we want the drive-through method, and the good things just typically take time. So what's the thing that I wanted you to stay for till the very end? Here's the thing. Been studying a little bit on how God is different than us and why that's a good thing. And one of the things is that God is infinite. And what that means for us is that we're limited. And I don't know if you feel this way, but I certainly feel this way in this season of motherhood. My oldest is about to turn 12 and I have 6 children, is I feel extremely limited. I feel limited in my time. I feel limited in my energy. I feel limited in my patience. I feel limited in my finances. I feel just limited. I feel very limited. And I realized I don't want to feel limited. I think so much of the personal development space is telling people they can be limitless, and that's just not true. I think that we can grow in godliness, but there are some attributes of God we're never going to get. I'm never going to be all powerful. I'm never going to be all knowing. I'm never going to be in all places at all times. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing that he can do all those things and I can't. But one thing that I've been mulling over is the idea that we can give God a lot of glory by being limited, by being exactly who he's made us to be. He can actually get a lot of glory that way. And I think sometimes I was just thinking, well, if I become limitless, then he gets lots of glory because I'm awesome. But actually, my limits in motherhood and as a person, it's almost like the joy of the Lord is my strength. It's not that my awesomeness is my strength or my limitlessness is my strength. It's the joy of the Lord is my strength. And so if you're feeling extremely limited today and you're like, I want to grow in discipline, I want to grow in character, I want to stop procrastinating, I think those are all good aspirations. Those are all good things. And yet, sometimes we're going to be limited with the amount of sleep we got. And our best that day is not going to be what our best is on other days. But I think just offering our best that day, God, I'm going to give you what I have today. It's a very meager offering, but I'm limited today, and that still can bring you a lot of glory. He sees all of our hidden work, and he's proud of that. And he's a good father, and he knows all that we do in the hidden moments of the night when we're feeding babies or we're getting up with a sick child. And he knows the struggles. And so I think just keeping our mind on truth that our limits can actually bring him a lot of glory. Yes, he does want us to grow in discipline. Yes, he wants us to grow in ending procrastination and to fight against those toxic habits that are really self-sabotaging for who we can become. But at the end of the day, we do have limits, and that can actually be a really good thing. So I wanted to tell you before you go, I actually have a website, scrollteachme.com. I'm putting blog posts up all the time. I have a Friday email that goes out without fail on Friday because I have the help of a really sweet friend named Taylor who helps me. We both get that email out on Fridays to you. So that email's free to you. It's just like Friday favorites, kind of a little bit more real time, what's going on in life, what I'm learning, books I'm loving, all the things. So make sure you're on that email list, and I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good. He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for a reason. It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand, just like iron sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling